So I recently installed Linux on the last piece of hardware I had in my room. My streaming laptop was holding on to dear old Windows because I didn't have time to get Linux set up on it. After a lot of thinking and a small break from college, I decided to put Nobara Linux onto it. You may be asking, why did I not put Arch Linux onto it like I did my gaming PC? Well, young Linux Padawan, I did not want to spend my hours before stream looking like this. So I went with something a little bit more stable, but still gets new packages similar to Arch Linux. Nobara is Fedora based, which I have heard to be the best option for something like a streaming PC where you still need the latest drivers, but none of the instability of Arch Linux where it can break on you on a whim. Since recording this, I have used it only for a couple of weeks, but so far the streams have been good and they've been performing better than on Windows. I do, however, have some gripes that I would like to get into before I get into how to set it up for your own Linux VTubing journey. Since I use Vseeface for my model, it does not seem to have a native version on Linux, so I of course run it through Steam. But one thing I learned is that if you have something running through Proton, you cannot use global hotkeys from that program when you're not focused on it, which kind of sounds like a non-issue, but this means that I have to have my full screen Vseeface constantly in front of OBS in order to change my camera angles. So if I want to peek at OBS, I have to physically alt tab to OBS, which has been a bit annoying. Other than that though, everything else has been actually quite a breeze and has not given me issues. So let's get into how to set everything up. These are the steps that we're going to be going through, so skip to the timestamps if you need a specific app working. First, we're going to be going with OBS. For OBS, I actually highly recommend that you use the Flatpak version, which you can install by doing Flatpak install OBS Studio. The reason I recommend it is because it has never been easier to install plugins into OBS than it has been with the Flatpak version of OBS. If you want a certain plugin, just go to your terminal, type in Flatpak install, and then the name of the plugin that you want, let's say Atom Suite for multi-streaming. And for a lot of the most used plugins, you can easily find and just install them like that with ease. Now just restart your OBS and it'll be right there. Now let's get into Vseeface. So if you remember what I said earlier, anything Windows based, I just ran through Steam. Download the same .exe file from the Vseeface website, put it as a non-Steam game in Steam, and then you're going to be running it using Proton. I recommend Proton Hotfix if you do not have the CatchyOS Proton, because that is probably the best one, and from what I know is like the most updated version of Proton. If you use an iPhone for tracking, then you should actually be all set. If you use a normal camera, then you will have to download another app alongside Vseeface called OpenSeeface, which I did not do, but I'll put a card to another person's video that will be useful if you do need it. Now let's go into T.I.T.S. T.I.T.S does have a native Linux version, however, I forgot what issue I had with it specifically, so I ended up installing it via the windows.exe on Steam. So once you get the .exe from their website, once you have it installed, it should actually just work like a charm. The Twitch connections, the Vseeface connection, all of it should be working. I assume it will work with VTube Studio connections, no problem, but I didn't test that myself, so let me know if you have problems with it. Next, we're going to be going into Touch Portal. I'm actually not sure how many people use this app, but for those of us that are too broke for a real Elgato Stream Deck, I use Touch Portal, which actually has an app image that you can just download straight from their website. Make sure that you download it, and then you're going to right click it, go to properties, and then you're going to make sure that you can run it as an executable. After that, you should just be able to double click it and it'll open right up. It worked like normal for me and has been going strong. Lastly, we're going to go over FireBot. FireBot is going to be basically your Mix It Up replacement if you want to replace Mix It Up when you're on Linux. For those of y'all that don't want to move away from Mix It Up, I know there is a way that you can run it on Linux. I'm assuming it's just running it through Steam. I didn't test it myself. I decided to just give up on it and then look for a Linux native app instead. So that's when I landed on FireBot. I installed it via Fedora's package manager using sudo dnf install FireBot, and after that, it's as simple as setting up Mix It Up bot. So thank you for watching today's video. I hope that this actually helped you start your Linux journey and also your VTubing journey, or just your Linux journey if you were already a VTuber before. Let me know if y'all want a future video on different apps. I just wanted to go over some of my tools that I already use and that I know how to use, but if you want me to go over a video doing something like VTube Studio or VitoTube, let me know and I'll do that.